Hey guys, Shinlox here, back with our blind playthrough of Metal Gear Rising. Yeah, 22 minutes of combat time is what that works out to be. So last time we left off, we learned a little bit about the rules of engagement, property damage. We learned about blade mode, I think, and we're totally gonna screw that up. We got in a fight, and then we also I think we did some upgrades, and see, it doesn't show us, but we can hit up on the D-pad to pull up the whatever this is, and I assume those are all.
You'll need to head inland, but first, make your way through this building.
Yep, 20 meters, huh? I assume this is this? Yeah, okay. Is it gonna fall? What happens? You know, it's holding up there pretty good, I gotta say. Right? Anything that's like this is destructible. Okay. But does it do anything? Huh. Oh, okay, the tree did... The tree did despawn. It did despawn after a while. Or whatever. You know, okay, let's go in. Boris.
This is Boris. Give me your status.
Looks clear. No one in sight.
Good. Let's recap the route you will take. As I said, the enemy's HQ is in the refinery along the coastline. Dolzaev has been spotted there using satellite photography. Also on site, Mistral, a desperado captain.
So I go through the city, cross the bridge into the old town, then head down to the rear of the refinery.
Still, I think they anticipate us. They will probably have a grand reception awaiting you at the old city. Do not let your guard down.
Okay. And I would assume that that thing on our little map is above, right? I mean, you can definitely ninja run. Oh. Repair nanopastes. Ah, I see. I want to know if that red chest was going to show up on this. Oh, I bet it's one of those right there. Oh, okay. Ah, yes, indeed. Oh wait, what was that? Yep, waypoint. Yep, there's a dude. Item box. Right, so what's the deal with... Do you have to, like... Hollow chip. Was that BP? Data storage. What is that? And it looked like there was something up here, too. Indeed. Alright, presumably jump onto that and cut it. Repair nanopaste. I think my issue last time, why I found it so hard, is I wasn't using those. I was trying to do it without healing or anything, but I think you... Oh. Alright, unlocked data storage, 1 of 20. Okay. Ah. Alright, let's move that. Data storage. Okay, well, let's talk to all these guys.
The stealth craft made it back to Sochi all right?
Da. Safe and sound. No repairs necessary. Some routine maintenance and she will be as good as new.
Good to hear. I'm guessing that thing doesn't come cheap.
I thought it wasn't
Well,
stealth.
an old Soviet army friend gave me discount. He runs a PMC specializing in airborne warfare.
An Air Force for hire? That's a new one.
Ever since SOP, Mercs started to fill more and more regular combat duties. SOP ended, but the trend did not. Most every modern military relies on PMC support in one way or another.
Good news for Maverick, I suppose. Anyway, that's quite the little jet your friend has. I was expecting a lot of turbulence coming in that low, but she was smooth as silk. Didn't feel like I was a bird exactly, but probably the next best thing.
The MQ-133C uses a brand new type of active adjustment control system. Sensors on the plane take readings 120 times a second, and to be honest, I don't know how it works. But the crew chief tells me this is what keeps her flying so steady. It is all state-of-the-art technology. There are only 3 of them in the entire world. Even the RQ-133 spy plane she is based on is only 2 years old. It is fitted specially for Cyborg, so maybe demand is a bit low now, but I think that will change soon, eh?
It's funny. Its guts are all bleeding edge, but from the outside, it looks almost retro.
Until recently, stealth aircraft design was focused on radar-absorbing materials and improving aerodynamics. But lately, engineers are trying to use the shape of the craft to do more than improve gas mileage. Maneuverability is a low priority. This kind of plane is not meant for dogfighting, after all.
And we can afford all this? I hate to ask, but will we clear a profit on this op?
You need not worry about such things. But yes, we should be fine. Where the proper equipment can make or break a mission, we should have the best. That miss with the anti-air missile last month was a painful reminder of this lesson.
Ah, yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah, the where he tried to shoot down the helicopter. We it's interesting. Would that have changed the game? Because I think Sam and Sundowner were both on it, right? All right, so we didn't find out about the data package. Would that be Courtney? There's potentially new dialogue, so let's exhaust all that if we can.
Huh. I didn't think flares could still fool anti-air missiles like that.
They, can't. At least not with any modern missile. Recent missiles rely on a dual wavelength, or IIR system, for guidance. Flares wouldn't fool either of them. But that was no recent missile I had. That Gusak Derma couldn't even take down a fat tilt-rotor target. And at close range. Chort was me.
Come on, Boris. We had no intel. No reason to think that we'd be facing anything like that. You budgeted for the tools appropriate to the job. No one blames you.
Perhaps. In any case, now we know what we are dealing with. This is still a business, but this time I am stretching the budget as much as possible. Expenses like that aircraft and your new body are all part of this.
Both were worth the money. This body's more capable than I could have imagined.
I'm glad you feel this way, since it is still company property. Remember, if you quit on us, you either return it or you buy it.
Yeah, Boris. I remember the first 5 times you told me.
I wonder if you could do any of that stuff on consignment, which in the hospitals, the hospital system is like, hospitals typically can't afford all of the stuff that they have. So it's basically loaned. They basically borrow it from the companies, and then if they use it, they pay for it, right? But presumably they, since they're not buying it, they pay more, right? But the thing is, you can't really afford like all the different supplies, right? You can't necessarily afford to have all of them were you to purchase them individually. That's sort of the problem, right? Because, some patients, everyone's a little bit different, especially on the inside. And so if you're using different tools, you might need tools that are specifically shaped for the job or whatever, right? So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going because I'm curious about all of these, and I don't want to get to the point where I mean, it really slows down the pace of the game, but I really do like the codec calls.
Hey Boris, about the Soliton radar. I noticed that it doesn't get jammed anymore, even if I get spotted by the enemy.
Huh.
Back in the old days, it'd be useless the second an alarm was triggered.
Well, once the Patriots fell, classified technology spread all over the world. This new Soliton radar is one example. By applying a non-linear Schrödinger equation to the Soliton solution, they were able to prevent the jamming that plagued the original models based off the KDV equation.
I'm impressed. You know your stuff, Mr. President.
Of course, I'm a businessman. You think I could run a profitable PMSC without being up to date on the latest tech?
But I wonder, how exactly is the equation different? I mean, I'm no expert on how the KDV equation was implemented in the first place, but I'd love to know how the Schrödinger equation fits into all this.
Raiden, on battlefield, most important thing is how to use equipment, not theory behind it. The mission is #1 priority. So do not worry your head about equations and such things. Just concentrate on using the equipment to your advantage, da?
In other words, you have absolutely no idea, do you?
Ah, the mission, Raiden. Focus on the mission.
What happened? Okay.
Raiden, what I said about staying focused on the mission.
Understood. No need to explain.
I say this because I have been there. I have let my emotions take over on the battlefield.
Oh.
Some of the PMC work I did after my discharge they were gray area jobs. But that's all in the past. When I took on those former PLA soldiers to form Maverick, I laid out my conditions. We would only take operations we believed in, and we would run them clean, no exceptions. Most of them agreed. They had their own bad memories from their time in Paradise Lost.
I can certainly attest to that.
Yes, of course. I forget who I'm talking with. Most of the ex-PLA have moved on now in any case. But the point remains the same. Everyone at Maverick is accountable for their actions. We are clear to take this job under international law, and we can use force against any cyborg hostiles under the basic rules of engagement. But remember, if we harm any civilians, on purpose or no, it will mean trouble. All kinds of trouble. So, stay in control and stay on mission.
Got it.
Paradise Lost. I never played the Metal Gear Acid games. I wonder if that's what those were. Or what was the one? Were those the ones where Sonny? So I played Metal Gear Solid 4, where I think it's Sonny, right? Sonny she's a little kid, but I think in one of them she was older. And then there was one where you rescue her. I don't know. I think those were Acid, but again, I have them. I just, they're for PSP only or something. So, the PlayStation Portable. So I don't I've never played them. It's so hard to find a battery that actually works and doesn't swell.
Raiden, if you ever get lost, use Augment Mode to check your next objective. By using Augment Mode, you can see enemy positions and the direction in which you should head. Useful for when you cannot find your objective on the Soliton radar.
Is that going to happen often? Okay. It's also interesting that it takes out the Soliton radar. It's basically just go this direction.
Raiden, if you ever get lost, use...
Okay, cool. Let's check with Kevin and Courtney, because I really want to know about that data thing we found. I assume it's not a VR mission, but it could be.
Sorry, man, but I have to ask. Where did Mr. Lightning Bolt come from anyway?
Ugh, seriously? All right. Well, I told you where I got Raiden from, right? World War II, the Japanese had a plane called Raiden. The Allies named it Jack.
Yeah, I remember.
And my real name's Jack. So yeah, they codenamed me Raiden.
They being the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. Never really suited me. But it's better than... Jack just reminds me too much of the past.
I hear you.
Someone once told me, you can find your own name. And your own future.
Snake, yeah.
After that, I dropped Jack for good.
Right. And this lightning bolt business?
Well, the Rai part of Raiden means thunder. And Den is electric. So Raiden is basically lightning bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I was explaining that to Inmani, and he just busted out laughing.
So he called you that as a joke? He was basically just giving you shit.
Yeah, he actually had a pretty good sense of humor. He was one of the most charismatic men I'd ever met. I don't know much about politics, but being around him, you could just tell he was a natural leader.
Such a goddamn shame.
Mm-hmm. I won't let it happen again. Desperado ends here. Comic book villains and all.
Yeah. We're counting on you, Mr. Lightning Bolt.
Oh.
Funny. Yeah, interesting. Couple things. One, it's kind of amazing that, because all this stuff is based on a lot of African history, right? Big Boss, I mean, now it's the Patriots that are the big villain, but it used to be Big Boss, right? Because he would recruit child soldiers from like Africa, the war-torn areas of Africa, and recruit them for his army. You do that in 5 a little bit, but they never go full into it, which is kind of but it's really interesting that, because Kojima is like super leftist, like turbo leftist. That was kind of the whole point of Death Stranding was oh, Trump is bad and we have to build I never played it, but we have to build bridges because over the divides of whatever. And then apparently Death Stranding 2 is like even more left, because I guess the main character, there's like a gay ending where like his tongue becomes a weird tentacle thing and like intertwines with another dude's tentacle tongue thing. It's very, yeah. And actually, strangely, I wonder if that's where the homoeroticism of the series comes from, because they like to push the agenda, but it's really weird, because I really don't understand why Kojima is such a leftist when basically these games are so much they're set in the like tribal warfare of Africa, the different not countries. I guess they're countries. I don't know what you call them, but the different like tribal African wars, and then different Middle Eastern conflicts and all that stuff. I just, maybe Kojima's more of like a broad strokes guy. Like maybe there's a rumor that it's not Kojima that's the reason all the Metal Gear games are so successful, but this one guy that has basically worked on all of them. And so it's very possible that Kojima is just like, almost like George Lucas, where he had like the big ideas and then everything else is executed by the people underneath him. George Lucas, for example, Star Wars only did the first one, and then the others like Empire Strikes Back and or at least the other famous ones, I should say, that the foundational ones, Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, were both done by different people. Although, Lucas signed off on the stuff. I wonder if it's like this, where Kojima just like signs off on it and he's like, yeah, okay, he gets all the credit, but he's not really that involved. Then again, after MGS1, they heard that he was the person that translated it took liberties, right? And after that, he was more like on So I don't know. I don't know. But also it's really dark because like Jack himself was a child soldier. He's Liberian, right? Which is an African country. Where they did a lot of child soldiers, and I don't remember all the history, but I don't know if that's the one that was colonized by the English, and then they gave it back, and then Liberia became like a war-torn hellhole where they turned to cannibalism and stuff, or maybe that was a different African country, or maybe I'm mixing the two together, but yeah, like Jack was a child soldier. A lot of African countries have child soldiers. And it's also really interesting that Namani, right? I think he's supposed to be... There was this one... I might be misremembering, but there was this one African country that was... What did they voted to keep the British rule or something like that, and I don't remember what it was, but basically someone interfered, and as a result of that, like Africa basically devolved, right? And I don't know if this is supposed to be like referencing that or what, but yeah, it's really interesting. Like I said, don't know a lot about the different histories of the different African countries, but been a lot of warfare, lots of war, really, really bad. And it just seems like whenever they start to, it's like the worst of them that bring down everyone else, kind of like in America, right? Like, that's where all the black fatigue is coming from these days. Although it's not black fatigue, it's a different word, fatigue. It's just, the leftists are like, oh, you can't use that word because it insults all black people. And it's like, we weren't talking about all black people. It's a bit strange that the people that claim to be on the side of black people are the ones that think all black people are the N-word, but because it's a word for, it's like white trash, but for black people, right? Just like how the leftists were very much, they're like orcs can't be evil because clearly this race of monsters is an analog for black people. It's like, what? You know what I mean? It's I feel insane. But anyway, yeah, it's very strange. That's one of the reasons I like the Metal Gear Solid series, is because of all the history. And that's why I think these codec calls are so fascinating, just in general. But let's see if we can get through all of these. This playthrough, I'm really slow. If you're looking for non-slow playthrough, you're probably gonna have to find a different channel. If you've even made it this far, which typically if someone's looking for a fast playthrough, they'll tap out in the first episode. But anyway, let's keep going. We'll do these codecs.
So Raiden, who was this that told you to find your own name before you stopped going by Jack?
The one and only Solid Snake. Hero of Outer Heaven, Zanzibar Land, Shadow Moses. The list goes on.
Right. Guy's a legend. I forgot you knew him so well.
Yeah, he saved my ass at Big Shell. Not to mention a few times after that. I've lost count. In terms of pure combat ability, he's one of the greatest soldiers I've ever seen. But it's not only that. He knows what's right, and he just gets it done, period. No one can stop him. I've learned a lot from him. He'd kill me if he heard me talking about him like this.
Wow. I didn't know you were such a fanboy.
He is.
I thought you were gonna start crying there for a sec.
Very funny, Kev.
Seriously, though, did Snake know he had a stalker?
Oh.
Hey, relax. I'm only ribbing you. I just wish I got to meet the guy,
I know.
You're no fun.
It's true, though. I believe... Isn't that why he took on... Like, Jack started taking on the big shell stuff? Because he wanted to be, like, Solid Snake? Anyway, that was what the, Ryan's landing at the beach reminded me of. Was the, was Snake's landing on the tanker at the beginning of MGS2. Anyway.
Sounds like Imani was a pretty great leader. Such a goddamn waste.
I've run cover for a lot of VIPs, but men like him are a rare breed. He had all these conflicting factors to deal with. Old tribal tensions, business interests, the military. But Imani got them all working together in a stable government, and all without firing a shot.
The savior of a nation. No wonder they called him that.
He had a gift for sure. But he also put in the hard work. He was big on equality and justice in every aspect of government. He fought for it day in, day out. And Mani single-handedly energized his people. He's a big part of why the country recovered so quickly.
True. It was more than new buildings and jobs. The people had hope again.
If only we had someone like him back in Liberia. Things would have been different, that's for sure. And it was my job to protect him.
Raiden, come on.
And Mani wouldn't want me to go after Desperado. Not out of revenge, anyway. But he would want them stopped. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
I forgot what it was, but... Oh, no, Boris. Boris said something about, you know, we take jobs we believe in, you know, that sort of thing. He has a philosophy, too, which is kind of interesting. And then Namani, you know, interesting, very interesting. All right, let's keep going.
Right. That saying you like about your sword being a tool of justice?
Yeah, it's why I fight. Sometimes taking a life saves others.
A life, or 2, or 3, or 40 in your case, but I know what you mean. Besides, it's not like those cyborgs you're fighting have been brain-jacked.
Wouldn't be much point in sending jacked cyborgs.
True. Having someone pilot a body remotely only really makes financial sense for espionage missions. And you might as well use UGs if you're gonna let an AI control your soldiers. So yeah, they're probably using emotional restraints, but those cyborgs are fighting of their own free will.
Starting to see where I'm coming from?
I get it, it's just... you didn't used to seem so comfortable with the idea. What about what Sam said? About your ideals holding you back?
Ah, bullshit. He's good, but now I know how he moves, how he thinks, and I've got my new body. My philosophy says when and why to fight, not how. It won't keep me from beating Sam. And next time we meet, I will beat him. I'll kill him, and I'll do it to save others from suffering, with my ideals intact.
All right, Raiden.
Interesting. I know... Something I do know is, like... Part of the reason I'm so curious about the game, I haven't, like, experienced the... I don't know exactly how Raiden's hero's journey, so to speak, comes about. Like, but he transforms somehow his philosophy. My understanding is, like, he sort of embraces the killer, right? Because he's trying not to be a killer. That's why he's like, I'm a tool, you know, my sword's a tool of justice, as opposed to I'm a killer, but I'm on the side of good or something like that. I don't know. Like, he's trying to be dispassionate or more clinical as opposed to, I guess more like Dexter. The serial killer, right? Yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm really curious about.
One thing I can't stop wondering about, Kev.
What's up?
Sam. If he wanted to kill me back on the train, he could have. Easily. So, why didn't he?
Good question. But I should be asking you. Your left eye was our only video feed. After he stabbed it, I got nothing.
Oh.
I mean, I got the details from your report after the fact, but that's it. He was probably just too distracted. Boris's attacks, escaping, there was a lot going on.
No, that's not it.
Well, why else? What does he have to gain from letting you live?
I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah.
Raiden, head for the oil refinery.
Awesome. Okay, and Boris, I think we've...
Raiden, if you ever get lost, but
Yep.
you
Alright, next, Doctor's not going to tell us anything new.
Doctor, you have anything more on these cyborgs?
Only what we went over in your briefing, if you had been paying attention. Standard military-grade cyborgs. MCFC integrated carbon nanotube muscle fibers.
Have we done this one?
Impressive response time and power yield when focused correctly. Most will likely possess extrasensory skills as well. Infrared vision is almost standard these days. They can function without breathing for short periods of time.
Okay. Nothing I didn't already know.
Not all cyborgs you face will be the same, of course. You may notice a range of different capabilities. It all depends on the manufacturer. Muscle fiber and neurotransmission technology is advancing all the time. Of course, you have the very latest science has to offer. A typical cyborg is no match for your equipment.
If you do say so yourself.
No, I realize combat is about more than the equipment. Situational awareness, predictive ability, nerves. One must determine a course of attack or defense and execute on a moment's notice. Reaction time is key. Cyborg enhancements do not change that.
Agreed.
Interesting. He just sort of, like, contradicted. Like, Raiden's like, I'll be fine, I'll beat him, I have a new body. And the Doctor's like, oh, but, you know, your body's not everything.
Hey, Doc, I'm curious. Can I recharge off any cyborg? Even a non-military unit? Not that I ever would, of course.
A pedestrian cyborg? I very much doubt you will encounter any of those on this op. Besides...
Against the rules of engagement, I know. Like I said, just curious.
In theory, then. No, I would doubt very much that you could. Even from those that opted for complete body replacements due to injury or illness, you know. Though I have heard of some very wealthy clients who wanted to fight the effects of aging.
Doctor?
Ah, yes, your question. No, extracting MCFCs from pedestrian cyborgs is unlikely. Most non-military enhancements use polymer muscle fiber that is a generation behind yours. Carbon nanotube would be a bit much for anyone who wished to lead a normal life, you know. And polymer systems can be powered by rechargeable electric batteries. Organic muscle fiber, which allows extraction of nutrients from the bloodstream, does exist, but it requires artificial blood for sufficient power output. This so-called white blood requires regular dialysis and was mostly phased out once cyborg technology became mainstream. True, some use cultivated muscle tissue to take nourishment from the body's natural bloodstream. But such systems are more regenerative medicine than cyborg technology. I'm sure you'll agree. Of course, natural musculature or no, if the body is equipped with a ceramic bone structure...
Can't get energy from non-military cyborgs. Got it.
Well, one moment. I have more...
Thanks, Doc.
I was curious about that, and they specifically mentioned the white blood. Because we saw Raiden bleeding like a lot of red blood at the beginning, but in MGS4, he had white, and he did have to do the dialysis and stuff. Which is, why would you do dialysis when you could just replace the blood? You know, like you have a spare tank, you replace the blood, and then it goes and purifies itself while it's not in his body. I don't know. And also they want to, you know, wealthy people want to fight aging by becoming cyborgs. I wonder about that. That was kind of the whole Ghost in the Shell issue, right? Which is like, when you replace everything of your body, when you're, you know, even your brain, what's left? What's left of you
as I was saying, there are many differences between pedestrian and military cyborgs.
You're still on about this.
Now, first and foremost, military cyborgs are generally full body conversions.
You mean as opposed to partials?
Yes, as opposed to just grafting on an arm or leg where a myoelectric prosthesis would suffice. As I have said, for the general public, these full body replacements are quite rare. Quite rare. Only in cases of extreme injury or illness, generally. Perhaps a few eccentrics who wish to live longer. In any case, most pedestrian cyborgs are no more than an artificial limb or two. We call these partials.
Doctor, I know. I just said that.
Partials enhancements are not designed to meet the rigors of military use. A pair of synthetic arms attached to an organic body cannot match the power of those on a full cyborg. Total body conversions also armor the entire soldier against stray ordnance and minor injury. This is why wounded contractors most often opt for the works rather than simply replacing the lost limb.
I hear it's why most of Maverick cyborgs had it done, anyway.
Of course, there is the rather dramatic change in appearance to consider. Civilian life as a cyborg can be, well, complicated, as I'm sure you can attest. But for the field, man and metal, capability beyond the natural human body, it has a functional beauty.
Beauty or beast?
Both lie in the eye of the beholder, which brings us to the senses. Machine implants can also restore lost vision and hearing, and with added sensitivity, as you know. Such options have become standard in most military conversion packages, along with pain suppression and dampening less useful emotions, similar to how SOP operated.
Yeah, no matter how hard I'm hit, it doesn't really hurt.
Of course, everything has its limits. Do not let your high threshold for pain make you reckless.
Understood.
Doctor, about my pain threshold. It doesn't hurt exactly, but I can still feel it. It's not painful, but it's still pain. It's hard to explain.
Well, your nervous system is still fully intact, of course. It would be dangerous for you to be entirely unaware of your body taking damage.
Be bad.
Instead, your nerves are controlled such that pain is no longer so unpleasant.
How do you mean?
Take epinephrine, for example, or adrenaline, as you might know it. This hormone makes it harder to feel pain, yes? Your implants work using a similar method. Yet, for all we now understand of the nature of pain, much of it remains a mystery.
How so?
Well, why do we feel pain? Evolutionarily speaking, of course, to signal external injury or internal sickness. If the body is threatened, pain notifies the brain so it can take steps to ensure survival. In other words, pain has a clear and logical purpose. But in certain cases, pain can drive more unconstructive behavior. In situations where fight and flight are both still options, one might simply break down crying or drop to the ground and begin writhing about. This would appear only to diminish one's chance of survival, not increase it, yes?
Maybe there's some other factor at play.
Well, the most common theory would link pain with the societal nature of humanity. If no friends are close by, then experiencing pain might indeed reduce your likelihood of survival. But if allies are near, these expressions of pain serve as a plea for help. Thus, you are more likely to live. Fear of pain might also discourage one from entering a dangerous situation in the first place. Whatever the reasons, the data clearly shows that survival rates rise directly with sensitivity to pain. The converse is also proven. Those less able to feel or express pain have a lesser chance of survival. So, mankind has evolved as a social animal, and in the process, pain has become more pronounced, more visceral.
A little pain never hurt anyone, huh? But if pain is there to ensure survival, well, what's that say about the future for us cyborgs?
As a transhumanist, I do not believe all evolution must follow the exact method Darwin posited. Cyborg technology is still survival of the fittest, after all. Just in a new form. You should be proud of what your body has become. It is the culmination of great achievements in science.
Me? I had nothing to do with it. The credit's all yours.
Well, yes. I should be proud as well.
The pain thing is interesting. Vocalizing it versus suppressing it. Because men and women react differently. Women, whether physical pain or emotional pain, they typically express, right? I mean, it sounds really unfortunate, but almost like a child, right? Because women are basically not combatants. And so pain, crying, whatever, is a expression of help, right? Whereas with men, men will typically suppress. They'll be like, you know? And thus, I mean, he's right. Like on the battlefield, it could call for allies if you're like, or whatever. But generally speaking, men understand they're not really going to get help in the way that a woman would, right? No one's necessarily rushing to my aid in the same way that they will rush to a woman's aid. So that's the thing. Let's see if we can get through. I don't know how much time we got left, but let's keep going.
Doctor, about my fuel cells, the electrolytes. Do all military cyborgs use the same type? I'm not gonna run across anyone, you know, incompatible with me, am I?
An excellent question. Your fuel cells, like any other, operate much in the same way as a typical battery. They do not need replacing after a single use, of course, and they do not require recharging. They do, however, require a fuel source.
That much I know already.
Yes, well, there are several different types of fuel cells. Phosphoric acid, MCFC, molten carbonate like yours, solid oxide, and so forth. Each type can be further divided into classes, each which runs on its own electrolyte material. However, all current military cyborg MCFCs run on the same one electrolyte.
That's good news.
Why all the same electrolyte, you ask? The answer lies in the catalysts that help make up your carbon nanotube musculature. It was breakthroughs in researching these catalysts and CNT manufacturing that enabled large-scale production.
Breakthroughs that happened after all the data the Patriots were covering up finally leaked.
It could not have happened without your help, Raiden. Science owes you a great debt. And I do as well. Working on your body has been quite educational.
Ugh.
Yep. And he's molten carbonate, not MCFC or whatever, because he's the newest model.
Check your destination on the Soliton radar.
Yep. Got it. Okay, so he's done. Let's talk to Courtney. We'll save with her, and then we'll stop for the day. Save, yes.
Roger that. Save complete.
You saved me again, Courtney.
Oh.
Right. Anything else? Otherwise I should get back.
Actually, yeah. You mentioned SOP earlier. How much do you know about it?
The Sons of the Patriot system? Same stuff as anyone else in the industry, probably. Basically, a nanomachine software combo for controlling contractors. Used to be required for all PMCs. Soldiers couldn't fire unless their ID matched their weapon and they had clearance. From their commanding officers. And the rules of engagement, I mean. It had some mental effects as well. Moderating pain, enhancing concentration, that sort of thing. The idea was SOP would minimize arms smuggling and civilian casualties.
A kinder, gentler war. An oxymoron, any way you look at it. Civilian deaths did drop, though.
Because soldiers in the system could coordinate in real time, share info. Between that and the ID weapon locks, a lot of people felt better about employing privatized military. The irony is, the system was developed based on criticisms of PMC ops, mostly American interventions. SOP propaganda said it would put limits on the war market. What it really did was shift market share over to the PMCs. Civilian deaths went down, but total casualties just kept on climbing.
More than ever, war was big business.
And business was booming. Until SOP got hacked. Suddenly, everyone realized how dangerous it was to have a single system controlling entire PMCs. That was the beginning of the end for SOP. Public opinion on privatizing war did a 180. After that, a lot of local conflicts and civil wars died down. The PMC conglomerates had to split up and downsize just to stay in business. And that about does it for SOP 101. Class dismissed?
Not bad, Professor. But it's not the whole story.
No,
Let's finish this later. I better keep moving.
I wonder if the saving counts that. You know what I mean? Or if now that we quit, we'll hear that the next time. Either way, it's fine. We could stop right now. All right, so let us stop. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of... It's going to be slow, but I think it gets... as we go through these, it'll be less later, you know? Like, we're getting all the... Well, I mean, you know... It's probably... The game's probably more front-loaded with all the codec calls. So... Alright guys, that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. As always, guys, questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent, let me hear them. I do read all of them. I do try and respond to all of them as well. What is your guys' unique positive moment for today? For me, I'm going to go with... I mean, I'll go with playing the game. It's been a few days, and I need to play more of it. I didn't really want to. The combat itself is a bit what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe not intimidating, that's the wrong thing, but like it's not my favorite part of the game. It's my least favorite part, I guess. And so I'm like, I have to play it. Can't I just skip all the combat? But you know, I'm all right. I'm all right with it. So yeah, getting over the hump, I guess. But that's my unique positive moment. Hopefully your guys just as good, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. Hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.